That illusion is persistent because we are living in a virtual reality universe. And it was only this very week that I picked up a paper, and after I've been saying this for years and years and years and years, and found that these physicists say they may have evidence that the universe is a computer simulation. Hallelujah. Keep going, guys, because it bloody well is. And it explains so much about the world that we are experiencing, as I'm going to get to in detail. Now, when you look at, video games and stuff like that, and computer simulation games today, they're getting closer and closer to the reality we're actually experiencing. This is the guy's real face. This is his virtual face. And more, we're having training films and video games that are getting closer and closer to the reality that we're experiencing. Here's this guy. They train bloody parachutists. Hello, sir. I'm just landing in the desert. And it seems so in the best of them, as it seems so when people do it in this one. And people are learning to fly overwhelmingly through their training on simulation technology. Some hospitals are using virtual reality technology to change dressings in burns units because the virtual reality affects the experience, i.e. the experienced reality of the patient, to the point where they don't feel the pain anything like as much. And in these more sophisticated computer virtual reality games, then what are they doing? They're hacking into the five senses. That's what they're doing. Hacking into sight, hacking into touch. And even though they're just technology and information being fed to the mind, they can be incredibly bloody real. This one is incredibly bloody real. And what are they doing? They are hacking in to the five senses, hacking into a system through which we create this reality. The body is what I call a biological computer, and the senses pick up vibrational information, they turn it into electrical information fed to the brain, and the brain then constructs reality based on that information. And all that virtual reality games are doing is hacking into it and feeding different information for the brain to decode into an experienced reality. Now, what if that was happening here in terms of this, which I'll get to in section 2? The reason they can connect the brain to computers and have interaction is because they're connecting two computers, one fantastically more sophisticated than the other, but the principle is the same. The five senses are just a decoding system, taking, like I say, vibrational information. The ear is the classic example, of course, but they're all like this. It takes vibrational information, it transfers it as electrical information to the brain, and the brain then decodes the sound. As I'm speaking now, passing between me and everyone else is not words, it's a vibrational information field coming from the vocal cords. The ear picks it up, decodes it into electrical signals to the brain then hears what you're saying. We only hear people when we've decoded what they hear, what we're hearing, and that's why you can hear somebody and hear completely different words and meanings and expressions to what were given, because your decoding system has intervened in that process, maybe because you don't like the person or whatever. The tongue is the same. You take electrical information, you turn it into electrical information to the brain, and then you taste. Oh, that's nice, when this decides that. Same with smell, the same system. Same with touch. You know, some pain relief situations now in hospitals, they stop the message going from the point of the pain to the brain, and if the brain doesn't get that message, it doesn't feel pain. So I've said many times that This is the stadium on which the human race is controlled. Because if you can control the way this decodes reality from the information it's receiving, then you control that person's perception of self and reality. That's the foundation of it all. Everything else, like I say, is detail. So, in this scene from The Matrix, when Neo said, "This isn't real," and Morpheus said, "What is real?" How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, taste, and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. Exactly. And what if there were people that understood that and understood how to manipulate the way people's brains interpret that information, what power they would have? That is what is happening. So we have these virtual reality lives we think are real. You know, oh yeah, I've got a nice car, mate. Yeah, I've got a big house. I'm quite good in banking. Oh, me, I'll make it up as I go along, my life. Yeah, oh, me, my life's falling apart. I'm only just holding it together, mate. You know, we're holding all these bloody virtual lives. When what we are is infinite consciousness, having that experience. Even movement is an illusion. There are some people who have malfunctions of the brain that don't see like tea coming out of the pot into a cup like a flow. They see a freeze frame. And there's the same basic malfunction as people seeing a car in the distance, and the next time they see it, it's just gone past them. They've seen nothing in between. Why? Not because there wasn't something in between to decode, but their brain didn't decode it. This is from the mainstream media. Researchers have been able to translate brain signals into speech using sensors attached to the surface of the brain for the first time. The breakthrough, which is up to 90% accurate, offers a way to communicate for paralyzed patients who cannot speak and could eventually lead to being able to read anyone's thoughts. That's what the brain's doing anyway. It's reading information signals and turning them into a reality. The brain is pitch black. There's no light in the brain. How can I see a light? Because that is information. And I'm decoding that information into light. Thus, again in the Matrix, this was so true. When the child said, "There is no spoon. It's not the spoon that bends. It is only yourself." In the way you decode reality. You have people, I've seen them, you walk through fire, somebody calls a bloody ambulance. But you go through fire in a different state of consciousness. What are you doing? You are decoding reality in a different way because of the different state of consciousness, and you can walk through fire and not get burned. Why? Because an illusion can only burn an illusion if you believe it can, and thus create that reality. So the body is merely a vehicle which is operating within the frequency range of this reality, and thus allows the true self to focus attention through the vehicle into this reality and experience what this reality has to offer. It is not who we are. That's the big mistake. The body is like a lens. It's like a telescope, which allows the true self, infinite awareness, to experience this reality. When we get caught into that is who we are, and that's what the conspiracy is working 24/7 all our lives to kid us to believe, then we become limited. I have no power. When we realize we are that, just having that experience, we are all powerful. We are consciousness. We are awareness. We are a point of attention within the great infinite forever. This is just the vehicle of experience. As a Central American shaman brilliantly put it, we are perceivers. We are awareness. We are not objects. We have no solidity. We are boundless. We, or rather our reason, forget this, and thus we entrap the totality of ourselves in a vicious circle from which we rarely emerge in our lifetime. the goal of the conspiracy is to stop us emerging from it. And this is a picture, an image by a great friend of mine, artist Neil Haig, a unique artist, and anything of this style through the day is his, and there's plenty of them. And basically the symbolism here is this is who we are as human beings, like just the white crests of the wave that seem to have some form of individuality, but actually they're just an expression of the ocean. And that's what the conspiracy wants us to forget, that we are the ocean.